You guys, welcome to Sick of Pricks, a type 2 diabetes podcast. I'm Mary, your diabetes bestie. And today we're tackling a part of diabetes that doesn't come with a warning label, but totally should. It's what happens when your family, friends, coworkers think they're helping, but instead they're driving you effing bananas. Yeah, today we're going to say the quiet part out loud. Also, I give you full permission to share this. So, do what you got to do after this episode. So, listen, they mean well, they love you, they want to help, but somehow you end up feeling judged, picked apart, or like your body and your choices all of a sudden are everyone else's business. So, today we're digging into why your circle's help feels like sabotage, how to keep your sanity intact, and how to protect your peace without flipping a table or staging your own kidnapping. So why don't they get it? Here's the deal. Some people, most people, have no real idea what type 2 diabetes actually is. They're stuck on outdated myths, bad advice, diet culture toxicity, and just straight up judgment. They think if you just eat better or lose weight, then poof, your diagnosis is going to disappear like magic. They don't understand hormones, stress, meds, genetics, and they may not understand, but holy smokes, do they have opinions. And if your diagnosis makes them uncomfortable, they take it upon themselves to try to fix you. So cue the food police, the passive-aggressive comments, or the weird snake oil remedies that you didn't ask for. Why does this happen? I think for a few reasons. Projection could be one. They might be fighting their own battles and you're that reflection for them. I think another reason could be fear. Okay, it's easier for them to judge you than admit that they're scared for you or worried about you. And the last one is just outdated info. Okay, we grew up on, diet culture and fad diets and fear-mongering news clips, and we hear all the nightmare side effects and complications, and, it's hard to unlearn those things. Now, I asked the Sugar Mama Strong diabetes support community to share with me specifically for this episode the wildest things people have said to them in regards to their diagnosis or their management. And I have to read you some of these because they are fantastic. So, one of my favorite ones, was a person at their work told them that they couldn't eat the lasagna because of the kinds of spices that were in it, which I think is hilarious because spices, aren't we supposed to be ingesting turmeric and cinnamon? Not the noodles in the lasagna, which, most of the time that's what people lecture us about is the carbs. This one, the spices. Okay, another one. Maybe if you hadn't eaten any desserts, you might not have diabetes. Okay, so whoever eats dessert, beware. Just don't eat it. The one that we hear all the time. You shouldn't be eating that. How many times have we heard that from people? Only obese people have diabetes. Just go for a walk after you eat and you'll be fine. I've been told that I don't look like I have diabetes because, all people with diabetes look a certain way. If I had diabetes, I would just stop eating foods with sugar. Okay. Because that's so easy. If I would exercise more and lose weight, I wouldn't be a diabetic anymore. What? We've all heard similar things to these examples. And I think I think that's why I love the power of community so much, is because if I didn't have these 5,000 plus ladies in my life, I would think that I was the only one dealing with these kind of comments all the time. So here's the problem with these comments, is that we start to internalize them and we go through this emotional crisis the more that we hear them. We feel like we have to over-explain everything. We have to explain why we're eating bread, why we're on meds, why we're not doing that thing they saw on the place from the guy, right? We start over-explaining to people who don't really deserve an explanation. We also start to question our own plan. Maybe I should try keto or doing yoga in the moonlight or drinking vinegar shots. We start to wonder if we're doing it right. And then what I think is one of the more sad things is that we start dreading meal times. And I don't know about you, but meal times for me is like a social time, it's family time, it's hanging out with friends. And the last thing I want to be worried about is what someone's thinking or what they're going to say about what's on my plate. Okay, that just makes me really sad. But I think the hardest part for us is not internalizing their judgment, not letting ourselves think maybe they're right. Maybe I should be doing more. But let me tell you something. You are not failing because your diabetes doesn't look like someone else's fantasy healthy image. Okay? You're managing a chronic condition in a real body with a real life, with real stress and real things going on. And that is no small thing. So let's talk solutions because as much as we can bitch about it, which I could spend all day talking about this topic, we need things that work and things that help in these situations. Tip number 1, have your comebacks ready. You don't have to be snarky unless you want to, but try something like, I'm working with my doctor on what's right for me. Simple, easy to understand, effective. Okay? Thanks, but I've got it handled. Also, one of my favorites. Let's not make my health the topic of discussion tonight. These are things that if you memorize them, you have them in your back pocket, you can address the comment as it happens. Tip number 2, setting boundaries is not dramatic. You can love someone, care about someone, work well with someone, and still say to them, I don't want to talk about my blood sugar in the workroom today. Or please don't comment on my plate. And if they keep doing it, you can say, I've already asked for this boundary. I would appreciate it if you would respect it. Okay. And listen, as someone who would rather suck it up and pretend that it doesn't bother me than confront someone face to face, I know how hard this is. Tip number 3, educate if you're up for it, but don't feel obligated. You don't owe anyone a masterclass on type 2 diabetes management. If you want to explain things, great. If you'd rather sip your lemon water and keep the story moving and change the subject, that's also great. Tip number 4, choose your peace over petty. And I know sometimes this is really hard because sometimes you just want to say the snarky thing. And yes, you can. You totally can. It's up to you how you want to address it. You can clap back with the sarcasm. But sometimes it's better to save your energy and just walk away. Your sanity is worth more. I can tell you, it definitely depends on the person that I'm dealing with, whether I'm going to be snarky or not, or whether I'm going to be patient and calm and level-headed, because the last thing I want to do is invite more drama into my life. So sometimes I just change the subject and move on. It's just easier and it prioritizes my peace. And the last tip, tip number 5, build a support circle on purpose. If your family doesn't get it, build a chosen family who does. Whether it's an online group, your best friend, your diabetes coach, surround yourself with people who understand your wins, your setbacks, and everything that's involved in managing your blood sugar. Side note, check out the episode notes for links to both of my support communities, one for men, one for women. We would love to have you join us there. We're going to take this one step further. What about when it's not just clueless comments or well-meaning advice? What about the people who actively push back against your progress? You're trying to take care of yourself, eat better, move more, check your blood sugar, and suddenly the people closest to you are acting like you're the one with the problem. Maybe it's the roommate who brings junk food into the house when you're finally gaining momentum. Maybe it is your partner who is like taking stabs at you making fun of you and treating your life changes like they're temporary. It could be a coworker who says, "Oh, just have a little bit. You don't have to be so strict, live a little." Or it could be the friend that you go out to lunch with who acts like you are a completely different person because you chose grilled chicken on your salad instead of fried chicken. But let's call this what it is. It is sabotage, whether it's meant to be or not. But why do they do this? Why does this happen? A few reasons, I think. They can be uncomfortable with change. If you start taking your health seriously, it might remind them that they are not taking theirs seriously. And listen, we're not getting any younger, right? Like, we need to do something now. They might feel left out, especially with shared routines like eating out, nightly snacks, drinks. You changing your behaviors might feel like you're rejecting them. And I think also it can be that a lot of people feel stuck. And when they see someone growing, making changes for the positive, it reminds them that they're stuck. And maybe they want someone to be stuck with. But here's what you need to know. You are not responsible for making other people comfortable with your progress. If someone is truly offended and put off by the fact that you're ordering grilled chicken instead of fried chicken, that says a lot more about them than it does about you. So how do you handle it? This is tricky, you guys, because a lot of times these are the people that are closest to us. They're the people that are supposed to be in our corner who will tell you, "I support you, I love you, I'm there for you, I'm your biggest cheerleader." But then their actions show something completely different. So how do you handle it? You can call it out. You can say, "Hey, I've noticed that when I make healthier choices, you tease me or you push back. That makes it harder for me to stay on track." Straight and to the point. Reaffirm your why. And I love this statement. "I'm doing this because I want to feel better. I'd love your support, but I'm not asking for permission." Protect your space. If this keeps happening, it's okay to set firm limits or put distance between yourself and their negative vibes, even if it's temporary. Okay, sometimes as you gain your footing and your habits become habits that you are sticking to, it's easier to let those people back into your life once you have formed those habits. But sometimes you need to make space for yourself to grow without their negative influence on you. You are allowed to grow, and you're also allowed to outgrow habits, environments, and even some relationship dynamics that don't support the version of you you're becoming. It's not about being perfect. It's about being supported. And if you don't have that, let's build it somewhere else. So here's the mindset shift I want you to take away from today's episode. You don't need anyone's understanding to do what's right for your body. Let go of the need to convince, explain, or prove. Your worth, your care, your management is not up for family debate. You are not being difficult. You are protecting your health. You're enforcing your boundaries, and you are taking care of you. Now, here's what helped me most in dealing with these kind of situations. I started practicing what I wanted to say before the moment hit. I am not one of those people who can be on the spot and say exactly what I want to say. Anytime I've ever been in any type of confrontation, 3 hours later, I'm like, "Oh, I should have said XYZ." So by practicing what I want to say before the situation arises really helps me to make my voice heard instead of just staying quiet and taking it. So keeping these kinds of comebacks in my back pocket really helps me. I also had to let go of needing everyone to approve of my plan. When you are on a wellness journey, everyone has an opinion. everyone has something to say. You're doing it wrong. You should be doing this. It's like you're eating too many carbs. You're not eating enough carbs. You're not doing enough cardio. You're doing too much cardio. Why are you on this medicine? You should be on that medicine. You should be on no medicine. Everyone feels like they're entitled to know the ins and outs of your management plan when you're trying to get well with type 2 diabetes or lose weight. I feel like those go hand in hand with the criticism. The last thing that really helped me is having a group that actually understood what I was going through. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, knowing that people all over are hearing these same comments, there's like that shared camaraderie, like people get it. And I really needed to not feel alone in experiencing these judgments from people. The truth is, you guys, people who don't get it might never, ever get it, ever. Doesn't matter how many times you explain it. But that doesn't have to derail you. It's not your job to keep them comfortable. It's your job to take care of you and stay alive with as few complications from type 2 diabetes as possible. It's your job to thrive and to find peace in the process of taking care of yourself. If this episode hit home, do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Send it to a friend or anonymously drop it in the group chat before the next family dinner. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Sick of Pricks, leave a review. And thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.